Here's the situation. I got my light bar right here. The light bar was right up there. I'm going to mount it right here. I ran underneath the tree and a couple of weeks ago and broke it off, or a couple of months ago. Anyhow, I've got these clamps. You can buy these on lots of different places online. They're made to go on bars. Here's one right here I've already put on. And the good thing about this type of clamp is that when you buy it, you get an assortment of these different type of grips that go in it. So you can adapt the clamp to a small bar like that or a big bar like that. Okay, here's how these clamps work. They have these hex bolts that secure both pieces together. So the first thing you got to do is release your hex bolt. And these bolts grip pretty tight. I've been very happy. I bought clamps like this for other stuff in the past and been pretty happy with them. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, here's how you put these things on. So for this size bar, I'm going to use these grips. They look like that. They have ridges on both sides. They're meant to go in this, just like that. So it's going to go on just like that. Problem is, those grips you can't tighten it up enough to keep it from spinning on this bar. So here's what you have to do. When you buy these grips, they come with a thin piece of plastic, which is sort of a fine-tuning mechanism. You have to put that inside the thick grip around the bar, just like that. The only problem is this thing's too long, so you got to shorten it some. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trim it so that it's just long enough to wrap around that bar one time. So I've got to trim it to right there, all right? So I got a knife somewhere here. Actually, my knife disappeared, so I'm using this carpet or linoleum knife with a rusty blade. Hopefully I won't cut myself. There you go. All right, so put this on the bar. Put that on just like that. Put the other piece on. And then you put your screws in and tighten it down. So let's make sure this is really snug. Also, these rubber pieces, sometimes they'll get off center and they'll end up like that. That's not what you want. You want it to be flush with both sides if possible. And you don't want to trim these rubber pieces. You don't want to cut those. So put that on. Put this on. Just like that. Put the other piece on. And then put in the back screw. And don't tighten it down all the way. All right, now I'll put in the front screw. And when you buy these, they come with a hex wrench. All right, so you want to leave it loose enough so that you can slide it back and forth, because I still got to put my LED light on here and get my distance just right. All right, so here's my LED light. I'm going to mount it just like that. So I want the LED light centered up on my hood. And I'm sort of limited in what I can do, because when I broke my LED light off, it actually bent the metal. I hope you can see it right there. It hit it on both ends hard enough to bend this piece of metal. Now this is a Nylite brand, and I'm not hating on Nylite, but I'll just say that if you buy a better brand like Rigid, you're not going to have that problem. The steel is a lot tougher. So anyhow, you can adjust that. What I need to do is come out on this a little bit. Loosen that up, just come out a bit. And the placement on these really doesn't matter. It's not really that important. You just got to make sure they line up. So these are almost perfect. Let's come in on this one a bit. All right, that's it. So now we just have to pull these up horizontal and tighten it down. There we go. And you want to evenly tighten the top and the bottom, which is sort of a pain, I know, but it's necessary. Okay, I got these two mounted on, and they're on really tight. It's going to take a serious bump to knock them out of sync, or get them misaligned. Anyhow, now this has to connect to this. So first thing that we need to do is make sure these are lined up. And I've taken the time and lined them up perfect. Now, when you buy a light like this, it comes with the two brackets that look just like this, okay? Those brackets mount in those holes, and then this mounts on just like that, so that you can adjust the angle of your lights. So first thing to do, or the next thing to do, is to get these mounted on there. Put that on. Put on a flat washer, a lock washer, and that. Now what I didn't show you, it's hard to see, but inside these brackets, there's two little raised areas. So the head of the screw sits in between those two pieces there. That way all you got to do is tighten the nut on the bottom. Take the wrench, tighten these up. And I'll show you what I'm trying to say about the head of the screw. See the screw? As I tighten the nut, the head of the screw, well, the bracket turns, but the head of the screw doesn't turn because it's set in between two pieces that have it wedged. All right, I got to use both hands for this. But I got to keep these brackets lined up. There we go. There we go. All right, now the light will set in just like that. Now there's screws that go on both sides of the light through that bracket into this housing to hold it in tight. So that's the next step. So let's come back around here and sort of see what we're doing. Here's how this works. Screws go right in here. And each bracket takes 4 screws. There's 2 on each side. Notice how much I'm sweating. I'm in central Mississippi. It's about 10 to 1 in the morning, and it's still extremely humid. It feels like it's about 90 degrees out still. Okay, that's it. It's installed, at least the physical part's installed. The wire's hanging out. I still got to connect the wire. I think I'm going to do that in the morning because now it's about 10 minutes after 1. It's pretty late. I'm tired of sweating. It's time to go to bed. Tomorrow morning I'll get up, run these wires along the underside of the chassis back to the wiring harness, which comes in back here. It's actually this muddy cable right here. It goes up along this bar. I'm going to reroute that down here, hook it up to this. I'll probably run this, I don't know, somewhere like that. Anyhow, get that hooked up and finish it up in the morning. So, good night. Okay, I said I was going to wait in the morning, but now that I think about it, it's cool out here. Well, it's cooler than it will be tomorrow. I'm going to have to pull this cable. These are the two ends that connect to that wire coming off the light. That cable snakes right up this bar. It comes through right here. So I'm going to have to pull it through the underside. It's actually tied down by the Velcro straps that are on my windshield on. So I'm going to have to pull that through. So I might as well cut that and pull it tonight. So I got to cut all these wire ties first. These wire ties are strong. Cut the wire ties off that are holding that cable on. Let's see if I can get a better view. There we go. All right, now I got to pull it out from underneath all that Velcro. So let's go do that. Okay, I went ahead and rerouted the cables tonight. So that's it. The light's finished. I had to put it on with some older alarm wire I had because I could not find my wire ties. I think somebody used them. So here's the switch down in here. Turn the switch on and the lights come on. So that looks pretty good. Let's take a ride down the trail and see what it looks like. Okay. Got my co-pilot here. Hey, eyes forward. All right, here we go. Let's go. And I've had a couple of people ask me about how much of a load those 9 lights put on the battery. Notice my lights were on and I cranked up the Pioneer so they don't draw the battery down enough that you can't crank it. Now I've got the front lights on. I'm also going to reach down here, turn on my rear lights. You can see those came on. So let's take a look at just how bright these are. Oh yeah, those lights are awesome. I actually like them better farther down than I did on the roof. What would be better is if I could move them around, if I could pan them up and down, tilt side to side, but maybe I'll get to that in the future. Oh yeah, these lights are awesome. I'm going through about 4 feet high grass. Of course, if I hit something, my lights are toast. That's okay. I'm not going to hit anything. Awesome. Okay, there's your night ride. If it weren't so late, I would actually go out in the woods because I love to ride at night in the woods. But it's now about 1:30 in the morning, so I guess it's time to go to bed. So anyhow, we'll check it out again tomorrow. Good night. Okay, I know I said I was going to go to bed, but I can't resist a night ride at 2 a.m. Plus, tonight's a full moon, and I don't get a lot of chances to be up here at the farm and go riding for the full moon, and it's one of my favorite things to do. So let's take a ride. All right, lights on. There we go.